Hey guys, it's Tracy. Welcome to Country Charm by Tracy, and I'm Tracy, and I love to share crafty ideas with a bit of rustic country charm. And as you hop onto the video, please tell me hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I love to know where my community is watching, and so I am so glad that you're here. I'm also on my segment of Craft Round the Clock, so hello if you're watching in that group. I am so glad that you are all here. I have a cute craft, I hope a cute fall craft to share with you today. I love to create little crafts like this with little fences and stuff like this, and so I've already done this one this morning, and I'm so glad that I did, because I had used one of those little wire baskets, you know, that you can get in the kitchen section at Dollar Tree or wherever, but I got this one at Dollar Tree, and I don't know if I like it. You know, I had put some styrofoam in it, so I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. You know, but with a box, a little box. But I was good with the little wire, because you know, I love Excelsior. That is my heart. That is my heart. And so I just kind of like had it, the whimsiness of it kind of sticking out. And so I know I need to add a little bit more, you know, just to cover up the green. I mean, the green of the styrofoam. But I just love it so much. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But I'm going to show you how I did it with a little box. So thank y'all so much for being here. Okay. So, what I'm going to start with, guys, is one of these little slat hanger things that you can get at Dollar Tree Plus. Now, I am finding that there are a lot more people that are saying that their Dollar Trees are getting the Dollar Tree Plus sections. And so that is very encouraging. And so anyway, but what I'm going to do, instead of having it like this with the little hanger, I took off the jute hanger, and I'm going to turn it this way. So, because I'm going to put the hanger the other way. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And so what I've done to kind of help a little bit with, you know, just since I'm on a 45-minute time of Craft Round the Clock, what I've done is I have taken my antique wax, and this is one of my very, very favorite ways to stain wood items. Is I picked up this tip from Katie from Junk to Jewels. I know there are a lot of people that do that, but that's where I saw it first, and I always do like to give credit. But what I did is I just took a little baby wipe, and I just went around and just gave it some color. I don't know why. I wasn't even thinking, girl, you don't even need to do these, because what I'm going to do is this is scrapbook paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, my favorite store. If you have been following me for any length of time, you know that Hobby Lobby is my favorite store. And so what I'm going to do is do the heat transfer method, and by now the majority of the people do know what the heat transfer method is. But if you do not know what the heat transfer method is, what you do is on your hard surface, you'll put a coat of Mod Podge. Just Mod Podge, let that dry completely. And I can already see that there's a little bit of it not dry all the way, but it doesn't really, you know, matter to me if I have a little bubbles. But the heat transfer method, what you use is something to use as a buffer. I choose to use parchment paper. There are a lot of people that use different things. Well, hello. And what you do is you'll need a little iron, and I'm using my Cricut mini press. That's just what I'm using, but a lot of people use, you know, little mini irons. And so what I've done already is I've stained the sides. I've stained the sides, and I tried to get in here in the middle so you couldn't see it. And so then what I've done is I have put a coat of Mod Podge on this fence. And guys, my name is Tracy. I craft here at Country Charm by Tracy. I am so glad that you were here. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching in the Craft Round the Clock group, or if you're watching on the replay on Facebook or on YouTube, welcome. I am so glad that you are all here. So what I've done is I have put a coat of Mod Podge on there, and it's dry. It's all dry. And so what I'm going to do now is I have my little mini heat press all ready to go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat transfer this on, just like it says. And so the parchment paper just acts as a buffer for, you know, just to, I guess, the heat transfers. It heats up the glue and it just, you know, transfers it on to your project, to whatever you're doing. And so I don't know, I just love this. Since a sweet friend shared this with me, I love this method, and it's better for me to do one by one, because leave it to me, I will, you know, move it. I will move it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Sweet Emma is watching from the UK. Hello, Sweet Emma and Miss Tony. Thank you, Miss Barbara and Janice. Phyllis. Oh, wow. Tina is watching from Bakersville, California. Phyllis and Janice. Oh, Janice is watching from Waco. That is right down the road from me, up the road, I think, because I am in Brenham. And so we're famous for Bluebell ice cream. And so that is where the little creamery in Brenham is kind of like their little slogan. And so it's been here my whole life. And, you know, that's what's special about my town. Last week or last time I was on, I had asked everyone, or if you wanted to tell me what your town was special about. What's so special about your town? And I absolutely loved reading things that were your town is famous for. And so some of the towns I had never even heard of, and other towns I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so cool. That is so cool. Okay, so oh my goodness, see, that's what I did. I got it off. See, look right here. But what I'm going to tell you is then what I'm going to do, because this was going to be, it didn't matter, but this was going to be my top. But actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my box down here, because since I heat transferred it, it got off a little bit. And yeah, that's all right. I don't sweat the small stuff. If that happens, I'm going to just, because I had everything already pre-cut and everything. So we're good. So instead of using this side for my top, I'm going to use this side. So we're good to go. You know, this morning on my example, that one actually turned out perfect. But you know how it is when you want to show someone something, and then of course it's not going to turn out correctly. All right, so we're good. So we're going to put that to the side for the moment. And so then now I'm going to work on my pumpkin, because my pumpkin, what I've done for my pumpkin is I have kind of like or not kind of, I took a brown bag, and I always like to, you know, we see there are 50 million ways to make a pumpkin. Paint it, scrapbook paper, you know, all kind of textures that people are putting on pumpkins. It's just absolutely amazing. And so what I'm doing, guys, is I'm going to put a paper bag on it. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I decided to do. I'm like, what can I do? You know, I'm sure someone has done this, so I'm not going to be, you know, naive enough or silly enough to think, oh, I've never seen this before, because yeah. I've been a crafter for a very long time, guys, so I try not to get into all of that. Anyway, so these pumpkins are from the Dollar Tree. You know, they're ones that come on the stand like this, and I know they have them this year because they seem to have them every year. But I'm going to take off this raffia bow, and because I don't need that. Ooh, and that one was glued on there really good. So, all right. So what I've done is I've cut off the bottom of the bag. These are just little lunch bags that, you know, you can get a pack of these from the grocery store. And so actually that's what I did on my last grocery order. What I did is I just put a package of brown bags on there. First time watching. Hello, Lisa from Graham, Texas. All right, so what I did, guys, is I opened up my bag, but of course I want some, you know, rusticness, so I'm gonna crinkle that up. All right, so first I thought about, you know, tracing it out and doing all of that stuff, and but I'm like, oh well. So what I'm doing, guys, is I did it on this one, so that's why I'm going to show you again, is all I did, because I wanted to make some ridges, but I'll be honest with you, you really can't see them. But since this is what I was going to do, I'm just going to show you on this too. What I'm doing is I am taking my glue gun, and I'm not being very straight in a line because I want it to be a little wonky. I want it to be, oh, I forgot. And it's okay if that glue dries, because I will go back over it. Because I forgot to cut off this bottom part. And of course this one is, you know, being like that child that's ornery and just won't work, but we got him off. Okay. So I just cut off that bottom part, you know, that little section that was in that wooden thing. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am going around and I'm putting some hot glue because I want some bumps. And I'm trying to make some bigger in areas. And so I've got 2 bumps on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay this down. And so I learned from the first one this morning, guys, is to work in sections. Just to work in sections. Because I did it the whole time, or did it the whole surface. And then I ended up, you know, it ended up drying. So I learned from my example this morning. All right. So again, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to accomplish is to make some ridges underneath, like the pumpkin's ridges underneath this bag. And so I'm just doing that with my hot glue. All right. Okay. So then this is what I have now. So this is what I have. Thank you, Miss Sybil, for spreading out the charm. I do appreciate that. That is just a free way to help us crafters, just by, you know, I wanted to say the word that we're not supposed to say. And I tore a little bit too close, but that's okay, because I'm just going to. So what I'm doing now is I'm just tearing across, or around, I guess, not across. Anyway, I'll fix that in just a second. And actually, my bow is probably going to cover that up, so I'm not really going to worry about that. I try to encourage my community, my watchers, my friends who want to try different crafts. And I say this humbly. I may be new to Craft Round the Clock, but I've been on YouTube for many years. A lot of my friends have you know, found me over there. And then, you know, I'm just been sharing my love of crafting, sharing my love of crafting. So I get comments and messages all of the time to say that, you know, they're new, they've learned this, they've learned that. And I'll say this from the bottom of my heart, the most humblest way that I can say it is, you can redo it. You know, sometimes people may look at something that I've done. I've been crafting for a long time, and so you haven't seen all the trials and errors that I have gone through. And I say that humbly. I don't say that to be bragging. I don't say that to be anything like better than. No. What I'm saying is, you start where you're at, and as long as you don't stop, you're going to find your groove. Oh yeah. So putting that extra glue on there, so I'm kind of trying to feel where it's at. It just kind of makes the ridges. And so, like, what I'm doing now, guys, is I'm using my favorite vintage photo ink and just a dauber, and I'm just going around it and just giving it some color on the ends. Like that. That's what I love to do. And so I say that humbly to be to be encouraging that you can do it too, you know? Just keep trying. So now I'm doing my doodles and my squiggles. I love my doodles, my squiggles, my happy dots, my paint splatters, and all that good stuff. So I just use a Sharpie brand, a Sharpie brand of marker. That is my preference, only because now this is paper, so it's not gonna smear, but sometimes if you're working on a slick surface and you use a Sharpie marker and you don't use a Sharpie brand, it may smear. So what I did, because one time I did this and I had some confusion, I used my ultrafine Sharpie marker, which is a little bit thicker, and then I go in the inner and use a fine point, and so then that kind of gives me the extra doodles that I like. All right, so then I'm just taking some white paint, and of course I lick my brushes. Oh, that is not giving me any white paint. Let me pull out Old Faithful here. I'm almost out of this one, but I know where I can find some from Hobby Lobby. So I'm just taking just a thin brush and just going around and just making some loops and some doodles. Now, some of this is a little God-given talent, but if you're here watching me as a crafter, it's in there with you as well. And so I say that to be encouraging, that it's in there. You just keep doing your thing, finding your groove, and just keep practicing, because eventually you will find what works for you. So I said that like that about Hobby Lobby, because if you don't know, if you're new here, my town just got a Hobby Lobby this past spring. And so I was always having to drive into Houston or Bryan College Station, or those were the two towns that I would need to go to in order to go to Hobby Lobby, because it was so far away. All right, so while that's drying, let me get this out of my way. Okay, so like I said on the example, what I did is I just this little white box is from not white box, a white wire basket, just from the kitchen section at Dollar Tree, and I stapled it onto the board. I just used my electric staple, my little electric staple gun, and actually I could staple it. I could get in there really good and staple that. So, but since, yeah, I don't like that, because it kind of like, I needed to move the basket up farther. That's why I'm not using the basket. So what I was going to say, see how it kind of shows on the side. So I mean, I'm not too proud to say, yeah, I don't like that. So I would have probably moved the basket up a little bit more. And so, but then I don't know, I don't want it to cover up my pumpkin. So anyway, that's the beauty of crafting. We just can do all of these different things. Okay. So what I've decided to do is attach one of these boxes. Y'all know these are my favorite. These come from the Dollar Tree, and all the time they always have so many of them. Cindy, it is an Old Love brush. That it's a liner brush, and that is in my favorite paint brushes. Those are in my link tree. The link is in the description of the video. Over on Amazon, my favorite brushes, and it's kind of lost some of the bristles, and so it's just a liner brush, a very thin liner brush. You can get liner brushes anywhere, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Michael's, Joann's, anywhere like that. Even, you know, the Dollar Tree has brushes, but they may not have a liner brush. So what I've done, guys, is I am just going to attach this box, and to you know, make sure that it is secure. What I've done is I use a combination of the E6000 and hot glue in order to get it to you know, hang down hold down. hang down. All right. Okay. Thank y'all so much for all of your sweet messages. Oh, Sybil's asking, did I get a haircut? A couple weeks ago. Yeah, I usually got to put it in a ponytail. But yeah, I was having a good hair day and I was like, well, maybe I'll leave it down. And then, so it is a little bit shorter. I told her, I said, yeah, go ahead and, cut it off a little bit. Okay. So then this is where we're at, just like this. So see me getting off, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to cover it all up. And so my iron was beeping because it's saying, hey, have you forgotten about me? And yes, I did. So I needed to unplug that. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I have some, Dollar Tree has these little blocks of styrofoam, and I like to get those and I cut them in half just with my serrated knife. And so that is what I'm going to put here in the bottom of this. And that's what we're going to stick our flowers and stuff into. Well, thank you, Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara says she likes my cut. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And so, if you get some of these little boxes, they have that little extra piece in it. That little, I guess like the little hanger piece. I went ahead and snapped that off. And, yeah, because it was in my way. And so then, after I had already tried to figure out what I was going to do, you could also, this is just an idea, leave a space in there and put some fairy lights, some of those, battery operated lights. And how cute would that be if you wanted to decorate your box? I love these boxes. I have so many different crafts on my page and on my channel this year that I've decorated with little boxes. And I just do. I love it so much. I love it. Okay. All right. So then before I start decorating, what I want to do is, because there's a process to my madness. Where's my little jingle blocks? Oh, here. See, I prepped a little bit. Aren't y'all proud of me? I did prep a little. Yes, I'm in Brenham. Oh, and thank you so much, whoever answered, Miss Nadine. Thank you. Guys, I'm a one-woman show, and even though my son they are out of school, today because the county fair is in town. Yeah, he's not going to help out his mama. So thank you so much for answering any question, welcoming anyone who's new. I appreciate that so much. All right. So I just got my little trusty little red shelf thing that's been with me forever. Forever. It's in my craft room and it just helps me with just different things. Okay, so for the stem of the pumpkin, I'm just going to wrap some burlap around it. And to be honest with you, once I put my bow on there, you really can't see it. So I'm like, do I even want to waste my time? But it makes me feel better because I know it's there. So I'm just taking some of this burlap that, you can get from Dollar Tree. And I cut off a piece of it, but then I cut it in half so that I can work with it just a little bit better. I so appreciate y'all watching. No matter if you're watching now live with me, there will be a red live button up at the top. But if that red live button is not there and you're watching on the replay, please say hello because I do try to keep up with the comments and answer any questions. Go back and answer any, if someone has not answered your question. And if you are answering someone's question, if you know, please, I welcome any and all help. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, guys. So this is where we're at the moment. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, and I would love to paint splatter it because that's what I do like to do, but I'm not going to on that one because I want to get to the other stuff. I can go, you know what? Sometimes if I can't paint splatter, I'll go back And I will just use my, just a black Sharpie marker and just add some of those little dots on it. Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. It just kind of gives a little color. I know that's old school, but that's okay because I am old school. All right. So then now what I want to do is put my pumpkin on here because then we're going to decorate the little box. Yes, we're going to decorate the little box. Decorate the little box. Anyway, I had shared, you know, when the boy, well, I have, my son is 16, and then I have my grandson is 8. And so when they went back to school this school year, I had a little adjustment because I was so used to, you know, having them hear the noise, that kind of thing. Well, you know, I got used to that now. And so I told him earlier, because he's in his room, I'm like, okay, I got a video to do today. Now, I don't mean you need to get off the Wi-Fi and all that stuff, so we don't have any issue. You know, it's amazing how you can get so used to someone being here, and then you get used to them not being here. Okay, so now what I'm doing, guys, is I am just, oh, let me see, I get to talk and then I forget. Okay, so I like dimension, and so I like to use these little tumbling tower blocks that you can get from the Dollar Tree just to add a little bit of dimension. Now what I'm going to do is actually kind of put it up here a little bit because I'm going to put some flowers and decorate the bottom. So I don't want that to, you know, cover up my pumpkin because it's going to look so rustic. It's so cute. I'm actually putting kind of where the stem is, kind of lining that up at the top. So that's where we're at. Thank you so much, everyone. I love this community, and I say this humbly. I am so grateful to the Lord for each and every one of you who are watching, no matter if you're watching now, if you're watching on the replay, because without you, I wouldn't do this. Without Him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this. Okay, now I wanted to explain this. Someone had messaged me or left me a comment and said, "Where do you get your Excelsior? Because yours seems to be a lot fuller than what they could get." I got this at Hobby Lobby in the dried floral section. There is some others in like the gift wrapping section, but that's a little bit wider or thicker, and I don't like that. I like the thin Excelsior, and so it's just like Spanish moss. So what I did is I just have this little bucket here, and I spread it out like this so that it's, you know, it's a little bit easier for me to work with. And so that's why it may look a little bit fuller. So I just wanted to clarify that. And that may have been somebody else's question too. Because I do try to I do try to anticipate some questions. Also, this Excelsior, or moss, this is actually moss. This also came from Hobby Lobby, and it's green, and it has some of the gray Spanish moss in it with it too. And so I said, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of both. Little bit of both. Okay, let's see what my time is. All right. So what I'm going to do is just start, just start adding this here. And so if I don't get all the green covered, it's okay, because my flowers and stuff are going to cover it up. Yes, and I just love the little bit of whimsy. I didn't pull out enough, so we're going to have to get more. I so love it that y'all are all here and watching today's project. Just so grateful to have this platform. I've been on YouTube for many years, and actually on Facebook too, back when Facebook was called fan pages. Back when I started my blog, and they were like, hey, this Facebook thing is probably going to take off, and so, you know, make yourself a fan page. Now they're called business pages, but back then they were called fan pages. And so, you know, I say that only to say social media, everything is always evolving. It always is. Okay. All right. Yes. Excelsior is extremely messy. Messy, messy, messy. But it doesn't bother me. Now, I know some friends it does bother. But so then don't do it. Okay. So, oh, yes. All right. Okay, so I have shared this before, but I wanted to share it again because I know not everybody sees every single video. Okay, I love these pit berries from Hobby Lobby. I love any pit berries, but Hobby Lobby, these orange and white or off-white pit berries are my favorite. They come on the garland, you know, that you can get at Hobby Lobby, and you know they have all their fall stuff 50% off now, I think. And so when I take them off of the garland, because it has this long you know, part on it, I usually would throw those away. Well, a couple weeks ago I'm like, you know, those look like pumpkin tendrils. Pumpkin tendrils. So guys, I have been saving these, and I'm going to use them as my pumpkin tendrils. Now, what I'm using now is just a curling wire. You don't need to buy this thing, these things, but I'm a gadget junkie. And I had a sweet friend, Miss Jan Blackwell. I give, you know, props to her because she's the sweet friend that sent me these. And she's like, you know, you're always curling wire and you're always using your finger or using a dowel. And so I found these curling tools that help. And so it has like a little slit in it, and I'm only saying this to share information. I don't get anything, I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but they're just wire curling tools. They come in a set of 4, and it has a little slit there so that whatever you want to curl, if it fits in that little slit right there, then you just curl it around like this. You don't need to, you know, it does take just a little getting used to. So anyway, I don't throw these little pieces that come from my pit berries. I don't throw those away anymore because I'm using them for my little pumpkin tendrils. And so that's what I'm going to do. All right. So I've already, just for time purposes, I've already made this bow. And so what I did is I just took some, this is my favorite fabric right now. Got it at Hobby Lobby. It's homespun. Homespun is, you know, where you can see it on both sides and that kind of thing. My favorite. And I just love this. And so what I do, guys, is I just, you know, cut a little slit in it, and then I rip it so that I have the torn edges. That's just my preference. If you don't like the torn edges, you know, you can definitely cut it, that kind of thing. And so what I did, I also did that with my muslin fabric. And I cut off some lace and just different trims and stuff. So now what I'm doing is I just gathered them together, and I just made a messy bow. Just like this. And some of these are a little bit too long, so I'm just using my pinking shears just to trim those off, because these are a little bit too narrow to you know, tear. So what I did, all right, so that's going to go there, right there. So I had already made the bow before I remembered, hey girl, you want to put you some tendrils in there. So I'm going to have to figure out. Also, what I did on the back, I have found this ribbon. I just found it just not too long ago. This ribbon at Hobby Lobby for the win. Guys, I'm not affiliated with Hobby Lobby. I should be, because as much as I promote them. But anyway, in the specialty ribbon section, you know, back by the wedding section. And so anyway, it makes a wonderful leaves for your pumpkin. So, all right. So that is, I'm going to have that ready to go. All right. So then now, let's see what we got here. We got all kind of little florals. I have some wheat. And then I have some sunflowers from nowhere else but Hobby Lobby. I'm just popping them off the stem. and not even having to cut them. So guys, you know, if you're new to me, you will hear me say the beauty is in the details. So guys, I have this I pulled out from my stash. That is frosted branches. I was going to say frosted pine, but that didn't sound right. And oh, these wire curling tools, if you're interested in that, in my link tree, if you scroll down, there is a link for the wire curling tools, because I do get asked about that a lot too. So these branches came from Walmart. I think this is a Walmart tag. Yeah, a couple years ago. But my Walmart is putting out their Christmas stuff already. And I know that people get frustrated. They do. But the reason that they do that, if you don't know, the reason that they do that is because the people who do craft shows and sell on Etsy and all of that, they need to get their stuff ready, you know, get their stuff ready to go. So get it into their shop, or, you know, for craft shows and stuff. Guys, these right here are called Purple Billy Button. I used some blue ones a couple of months ago in my sunflower stuff. Anyway, so I found some purple ones. So I'm like, yes, love the purple Billy buttons. All right, so guys, just what I'm going to do is I am just going to be adding some of this. Now, this little eucalyptus came from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just cutting off some pieces of that. I just love all the texture and all of the different, you know, greens and whatever, you know, your style is. That's just one of the things. I say this humbly. I don't want to ever make anyone feel how I make it is how you as the viewer or as the crafter or as the person needs to make it. I just love to share for ideas, and you know, people share things with me. I do have a free Facebook group that you can share your crafts and creations with me and inspire others. There is a link on the side of my also in my link tree, there is a link for my free Facebook group. You just have to answer the question and get in there. And because I do try to weed out anyone that is not crafting. All right, so then this wheat came from the Dollar Tree too. All right, so let's start assembling this. All right, so I have my paper piercer that it's probably not going to work because I'm not going to be able to find it anyway. So probably, I'm just making this for video purposes. I'm not going to sell this or anything. So probably if you know, if someone would want to sell it, or actually if you're going to make this for someone else, probably glue this stuff in. Like I said, I just like to share ideas and that kind of thing. So I'll probably use it in my home, or either, you know, I'm not sure, disassemble it or whatever. And so what I'm doing is I am just going in and just kind of, you know, just adding these things. And that's the reason why I put the styrofoam in there, is just to have something for my florals to stick in. And then I think the different colors of the Excelsior and the green moss just really kind of add to it. Thanks guys for sprinkling out. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all for doing that. Y'all, that is a free way to help us crafters, is by in the groups that allow that, as well as, you know, on your personal page. You can go back and, you know, if you're watching later, that's how we get discovered. Somebody else might say, oh, she looks interesting. Or, oh, I like what she's doing, but I would use these colors, or I would use those colors. And of course, I got to put my pip berries in. they're straight because that's how I kind of store them. And but I tell you, by just putting just a little bit of styrofoam in the bottom, just really kind of helps, you know, kind of it helps with your florals. Guys, this is looking really pretty. And this is my purple Billy button pick. That just cracks me up. Purple Billy button pick. I got that at Walmart. Purple Billy button pick. So that's what I'm saying. All the little different textures, guys. All the little different textures and all of that kind of thing. So for because I'm almost out of time, I'm going to put my tendrils. I need to rework my bow and put my tendrils on there. Anyway, so I need to figure that out. So of course, you know, I do post the picture on my page. Oh, and then also I was going to tell you what I'm going to do with it. It would be really pretty if, you know, someone wanted to just have it sitting like this on a shelf, or I like to put my own jute rope hanger on it. And so I like this 4-ply rope from Hobby Lobby. How did you know? My favorite store. And so anyway, I just get this in the rope section. And so Lisa Duggan says, I love that I have been able to find faith-based groups. I made a shirt that says coffee, crafting, and Jesus Christ. Oh, girl, I love that. We are responsible for building his kingdom. And so I have the privilege of retiring from my day job last summer in 2021. And after 32 years as a state of Texas employee, I was able to retire from my day job. And so, guys, what I'm doing now is I'm just making a knot in the end. I usually do it 2 times in order to make it a little bit thicker. And so that's what I'm going to glue for my hanger. Anyway, and so I have been building up my YouTube channel, you know, just building my Facebook in order to do this. This is what I'm called to do, and we all have a responsibility to do, to share with others. I get the sweetest messages. I've shared that with y'all before. The sweetest messages from people that say that they're homebound, they're in bed, they're sick, and so just are lonely. I say that humbly. I don't say that to be, I don't know what's the word, but anyway, so it's a friend. It's a friend. So I wanted to show, I've already hand lettered this little blessed tag, and these just little market tags that I've had on hand that I tea stained. And so what I also like to do is add some distressing. So back to, you know, my purpose is just to share different ideas. You know, people can, you know, take it and do their own thing with it. And so also what I do is I get a little piece of jute string and sew them for my bow. And this happens to me almost every single time. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say, I always like lose the end. I have to, I didn't cut it long enough because I want to make a bow. So I'm going to take my little tag. I'm going to take my bow here. I'm going to lay out my string. And then I'm going to go up from the back because I want my tag to be in the front of my bow. So I'm going to have to figure out how to put my little tendrils on there because I forgot about that this morning, and I need to add some to my other pumpkin. That's what I forgot. I forgot my little tendrils. Oh, there. I'm like, where's the... Okay, Trace. Okay. All right, we gotcha. Okay, here we go. Like, where's the end? Okay, so here we go. All right, so I just come up from the back, and then I'm going to make a bow, just like that. And so then the extra of the jute ties in really well with my rustic bow, my rustic pumpkin. So what I'll do is I will put my little bow right there. I'm gonna figure out how to put my little tendrils in there, just like that. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. There is more crafting in the Craft Around the Clock group. And so I appreciate y'all watching today. God bless you. Talk to you very soon. All right. And y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.